Sherry's all set up here in the paint department. While I'm doing the rattle trap install today, Sherry's going to prime and paint these sections of Unistrut. This is what we're using to build our roof rack out of. It's heavy, and we just spent a little time contemplating, again, shifting gears and doing something a little different, a little lighter weight. We got the specs on these, and we figured out the weight of them when it's all assembled on the roof, and we're fine with the weight. It's just what our comfort level is to be top heavy, because we're tall.
Scrape off the stickers, sand it down, wipe it down with some
mineral spirits or something, or denatured alcohol. Yeah, and then start spraying. A little breezy, but we got to work with. So, all right,
what we got out here.
You're on it.
Yep, I'm on it.
You're on the paint duty. Paint department's open. I'm gonna go do rattle trap install. Let's take a break and go see what Sherry's doing. Hi, dog. Hello, dirty dog. Woo! How's that working? Yeah, it's too windy. How many?
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. Spray painting in the wind.
That's just the primer, right?
Yeah, that's just the primer. So it's just a hit and miss.
Yep, that's okay. Okay, well,
one and done.
One can got almost 4 full ones.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got how many cans?
2.
Okay, because the other ones are smaller. So.
Yeah, so I can catch up on this.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, well.
It's primer. The other paint is primer and paint in one too. So
is it the combo? Okay. All right, well, that's gonna look really good. Sherry was spray painting in the wind today, and I think half the spray paint puffed off over there.
It did.
But these look good. These look real good. These are gonna be the side rails, you know, the rails that go along the side of the van. And then those are gonna be, the smaller ones are gonna be the side-to-side racks that we can mount things to, or to sandwich in our solar panels. Yeah, so Sherry got all this, she's, you know, scuffed it up so that the primer would adhere to it, cleaned it up with some denatured alcohol, primed all of these today, and then put multiple coats of spray paint on them.
Best I could.
As best she could. So they're painted. This is an open channel on the bottom. Can I flip it? Maybe. Let's do this. Yeah. So it's an open channel on this side, and she even spray painted inside there. So yeah, that's gonna look really good. Today we're making 1-inch stubs to hold the roof rack up off of the roof. We're using the Unistrut, we mentioned that before, and we need a little spacer to get the side rails, the front to back rails, off of the roof.
Hold it away from your black.
Oh, yeah.
Hold it against your orange. Kind of hard to tell the difference.
There you go, 1-inch stub. So we need the stubs to raise the side rails off the roof enough to allow us to put the crossbars on to clear the curvature of the top of the roof. So we determined 1 inch was the sweet spot for space. I'm going to cut this off of a section of galvanized pipe using a recip saw.
It's been spray painted black, that's why it's
painted black. Yeah. And then we'll grind all the sharp edges off on a grinder. Okay, so I've made a mark here at the 1-inch point in from the end. And I'm going to just kind of get a start going with the hacksaw so the recip saw doesn't jump all around. And then I'll use the recip saw with a short metal blade. Get that right in that groove. And put that right against the edge of the pipe and go. stub. It's a little warm. Just like that, it's 1 inch stub. We'll put that on the grinder, get rid of those sharp edges and smooth it out a little bit, and that's how I'm gonna cut the rest of them. I need 10 total, so I need to make 5 more. Up on a ladder at the roof of the van here, getting the holes prepped to install the roof rack rails, the side rails. And when we pulled the waterproof plugs out of the covers off of where the threaded, the nuts are welded into the framework of the van, some of them didn't line up, the holes didn't line up with the threads. Let me show you what I mean here. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's a little bright. Try to get that. Oh boy, this is gonna be hard to see, isn't it? Well, when you look down in that hole, the actual threads are underneath here. They're not directly square with the, you know, over the opening, under the opening. So I need to grind out a little bit of this in order to access the threads. I'm doing that with a Dremel. Got a little grinding wheel on there. I've done a couple already. I've done these 2 already. I wanted to make sure it worked first before I got too excited about it, and it does work pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind this out. This one is exceptionally bad as far as lining up goes. Really bad placement on that one. The hole's really deep down here. So I'm gonna have to grind away quite a bit of this. I'll have to get into the painted area maybe, which I didn't want to do, but you know, gotta do it. So grind that out. Well, just real quick, here's another visual for you. When I put the rod straight down in, it doesn't even come near to touching the threads. The threads are too far forward. The hole needs to be about right here in order for the threads to line up and for me to screw this in. So let's get to grinding. successful. That one so far was the worst, as far as threads being offset from the opening. Pull this out here and show you what it looks like now. I'm not sure if you can tell, but the hole is now extended quite a bit. And we can get to those threads. The Dremel kind of jumped at one point and kind of nicked that. This whole area is going to be covered with a square metal plate with butyl tape underneath. And before we do anything, we are going to touch up all the raw metal edges that we're creating here with some rust inhibiting primer. So that'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. It'll be covered up and sealed. It won't ever get wet. So yeah, that was the worst one yet. Hopefully the rest aren't that bad. We are climbing up on the roof, putting in our mounting brackets for the roof rack. So we're mounting the brackets, and then what we will do is we will set the Unistrut on top of the mounting brackets and tighten everything down as a single unit. We're going to have an 8-foot long piece here in the front, so one 8-foot long piece here, one 8-foot long piece on the other side, and then the back end from about, well, right about here back will be our second piece. I don't know, 4 feet-ish in length, between 3 and 4 feet in length. So we'll splice it together here in the middle and then use 2 brackets to mount the smaller piece, whereas the 8-foot piece here will have 3 brackets mounting it. Sherry's going along and putting primer in all the spots that I ground out today to get a straight shot in at the threaded nut that's in the hole in the roof. And I'm mounting the brackets, getting ready for the roof rack. And the way we do that, I'll show you here in a minute. It's just a series of washers and spacers. So let me set the camera up and I'll show you. First thing we do is we take this square washer that is going to sit on the roof, and we put butyl tape to one side of it. It's magnetic, so when it grabs, it grabs. So let me stick some butyl tape on this here. And the butyl tape is just this real sticky, stretchy, gummy tape. So I'm putting it on half of one side and then folding it over so I get a double thickness. Half the other side, double thickness, fold it over. And then I'm just going to cut 2 small pieces to fill in the middle there. Folding those over as well. It's not rocket science, as long as it's on there. Creating a seal, you're good. So we've got butyl tape on the whole thing. I want to center that hole over the threaded hole here. So I'll just kind of eyeball that going down. Give it a little push. And that'll stick there. This will further get pushed when we tighten the nut the final time. When the Unistrut is on, we tighten everything down. This will further get pushed down onto the roof. And we are going to put die-core self-leveling lap sealant over everything. So every edge will have a caulked sealed edge on it. Now we need to assemble our threaded rod that we just cut to length. And we worked the threads off the end so we can remove this nut when we need to. This requires, first is a lock washer, because I assemble this backwards. So a lock washer, then a regular washer. Now this will set in the Unistrut channel. Another lock washer that's going to set on the bottom side of the Unistrut. Our fancy 1-inch spacers that we made the other day, that's next. And one more washer. Everything here is stainless steel. We don't want anything to rust on the roof. Everything is stainless steel. With the exception of the spacer, that's galvanized. It will be painted. Sherry will have to come here and touch up the black paint on that. We kind of barfed that up when we made it. Then we take some blue Loctite. We don't want to seal it in here permanently. We want to have the opportunity to remove it someday if we change our mind on the roof rack system or something needs to be repaired. So we throw a little Loctite in those threads. Stand this back up in here. And we thread this down into the hole. Right there. And get that nice and straight, get that started. There we go. Okay, this is going to bottom out here in a second. Right there, bottoms out. So I'm going to take some channel locks here. I'm sorry, some vice grips. And I'm just going to tighten that down into the threads completely. There. Turn it. Okay, that's tightened down into the threads. Then I'll just raise this up and get this ready to remove. It's still a little tight. It's, you know, stainless steel, hard to rethread it after we were done cutting it. So I just want to make sure that that will come off when I need to put on the Unistrut. So make sure that's ready to go. Yep, that's good. That'll come off fine. So this is ready to go. The reason I preloaded all this is so we don't have to bring up bags of things when we're ready to do the Unistrut. It's all just right here. So all we do is we take the big washer, the lock washer, and the nut off, set that aside on all of these, set the Unistrut on, and then reassemble it and tighten it down with a socket ratchet, and we're good to go. So I will finish these. I've got 3 installed now. I've got 7 more to do, and we'll be ready to put the rails on, the side rails. We are cutting the Unistrut, the 10-foot long sections of Unistrut to fit up on the roof. We need to cut 8-foot section on 2 of them, and then we'll measure to see how long we need the other 2. And to do that, we use an angle grinder. We're out here in the field. I've marked the 8-foot section here. We've clamped it down to the sawhorse. I've got the grinder ready. I've already cut 1, and we're gonna go ahead and cut the second one and then get them fit on the roof and see how it looks. So Sherry will hold the camera while I get going. Oh, put your ears on. Good idea. It's pretty loud. And I've got 1 glove on because the sparks and the metal shavings are pelting my hand.
What?
Huh?
I can't hear you.
All right. After cutting through the bottom section, we're just going to loosen the clamps here and spin this around to get the other side. Clamp it back down. So I'll cut through here, we'll spin it to do the other side, and Sherry will hold the end of it so it doesn't just drop. So I'll just cut through this side without assistance and then flip it over and do the third side, and we're good. Woohoo! Just like that.
Nice.
Done.
Okay, so we'll file the sharp edges down.
Yep, and then we'll go put these on the roof and see how they fit. Just kind of hand filing the sharp edges here. We set the rails on the roof, on the mounting brackets. and determined we need to drill out these 2 holes here in order for the bolts to come through. We're just off by about that much on the bolt actually, meeting up with the hole. So I've got a step drill bit on the drill, and I'm going to go ahead and drill through these, make the holes just a hair bit longer so we can line them up, have everything line up. We have both of our pieces cut for the roof rack, and we have put them together with 2 plates, one on the top, which is this side here, and one on the bottom. So they're connected. They are now one piece.
Offset them.
That is, yeah, they offset them a little bit. There's spring nuts, so I'm learning all about the Unistrut here. So there's these things called spring nuts that look like this. Let me separate these here for you. There we go. So this is a spring nut. This goes in the channel. You push it down, and then you turn it, and it stays in place. Basically, it stays sideways like this inside the channel, and you can bolt whatever you need to bolt onto it. And it's very easy. Like I said, I'm totally learning about this whole Unistrut thing, so kind of happy with the way it's turning out so far. Now that these are together as one piece, we're going to lift it up on the roof and see if it fits. We have the side rails put on the roof. They're not locked down. The nuts and washers for them are out there. And then we put just some thinner section of side bracing here to kind of make it square and level. So now what we need to do is on the back end and the front end, we need to put our cross piece in. On the front, we're going to put the thicker tubing here, thicker Unistrut. We're going to put a piece that goes on the inside here, in between here and the other side. Just got the measurement for that, so I'll go cut that piece and we will mount this one on. That will keep this end square. Then we'll figure out the back end and we'll do the same thing for the back end. We've got the roof rack installed today. That's fantastic. It's on here solid. It's not going anywhere. Got all bolted down. We've got the die-core self-leveling sealant put around all the mounting bolts. Ooh, long day, but that's on. It's pretty exciting. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So from this point, with the roof rack, we need to wait till the vent fans are mounted in the front and in the back, so we know where the solar panels are going to be. And as soon as we know where the solar panels are going to be, we'll install those and we'll put the cross beams to kind of sandwich in the solar panels, hold them in place, just a little more extra protection. So it's 5 o'clock. When it was 3:30, I said, God, it felt like it was 5:30. So we're tired. Just a day of pretty much constant go, go, go. So I'm going to get down off this ladder, put our toys away. We still have to clean up our cutting room outside the fence there. Get stuff put away, jump in the shower, and have a bite to eat and call it a night. So roof rack is done. That's great. It makes me feel good.